Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Gladys, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate cake decorating easily. Today we're not going to waste time at all. We're going to be making red velvet cupcakes. Slightly same cupcakes I've done time and again, but with slight changes to the recipe. Normally, as a cake maker, I test and try my recipes. So it's always a good time when I have the chance to try something new to see what the result looks like. And these lives are an opportunity to inform, practice, and engage for the purpose that you get yourself some useful information that will help you through your baking and decorating journey. Good morning once again. I am stood here in my UK-based home kitchen, and wherever you are in the world, thank you and welcome to the stream. Tapita, I hope you are keeping well. I don't know what my lighting situation is. I can't seem to see it. Do I look dark on screen? What do I look like? The phone I have here just appears a little bit dark. I don't know what's happening here, but I hope that's okay. We are not going to waste time at all because I have such limited time. So yes, I'm just going to dive right in. The usual suspect for red velvet cupcakes are the same over here. There is egg for bind, for moisture, for texture, and all of that. The key thing about the eggs though is that I'm using parts of egg yolks and parts of egg whites. Parts of egg yolks and parts of whole eggs. I'll explain the details of that in a minute. You can't really go wrong with red velvet cupcakes, but depending on each individual preference, some people want their red velvet light, some people want their red velvet a bit dense. I actually like my red velvet a little bit in between, because when it's light, it loses the richness of what red velvet should be like. And if it is too dense, the moisture affects the crumb, especially for a cupcake. For a layered cake, which has a layer of buttercream, you can mask that. So as always, if you've been on this channel, I talk about the preferences of each individual for cakes. And the privilege for me is that as a cake maker, I can get down into the small details of that and make a particular recipe my own. But if you don't have that, maybe this is a good lesson for you. But maybe let me just rehash the small detail here, that original red velvet has nothing to do with food coloring. But I love the guy who decided that let's just add a bit of food coloring and make it red, because actually it makes a huge difference. I love that. That said, let's get straight in. We have buttermilk here. Buttermilk over here, the original red velvet, the buttermilk was supposed to react with the cocoa, which is neutral at this point, natural cocoa, so that it gave you that dark brown, which has now developed into the red velvet we see. But in the past, that wasn't it. So buttermilk brings a bit of tartness and tang to the taste. And more importantly, buttermilk performs the function of slowing down the production of gluten in the process, helping to give you a more delicate bake. So because I prefer my red velvet somewhere between the light and dense over there, buttermilk here, the quantity helps me achieve that very well. With that, I have flour here. There is a small detail about this flour that I will pass. Paulina, hey there, hey. There's a small detail about flour here that I will pass on. Most recipes will either have plain flour with the addition of rising ingredients, i.e. baking powder and baking soda. It is very normal that in red velvet cupcake recipes, you will find baking soda and baking powder. And in the UK, we have self-raising flour, which already comes pre-packed with rising agent in it. Now, I use the self-raising flour fully for my layered red velvet cake, which means the addition of rising agent is completely eliminated. So if you see my recipes and I write self-raising flour and you look closely and it doesn't have baking soda or baking powder, that's not a mistake. That is actually intentional, because my self-raising flour would have come with rising agent in it. However, I have tried a few ranges of, or a few brands of self-raising flour exclusively for cupcakes, and I find that for the texture, it ends up overfilling the cups and it rises too much. And I don't know why. it may be a combination of the technique, which is in the creaming, which creates bigger air pockets, meaning that the self-raising flour is overwhelmed and then it ends up rising. I could assign a ton of reasons for that, but to mitigate that problem, what I do now is I add a portion of self-raising flour and then plain flour. So in my over here, I think there is a total of 445 grams of flour, right? 175 grams of that is self-raising. Bear that in mind. And then we have cocoa powder in here also. That's out. Most importantly, there is sugar and brown sugar here. Now you wonder, what has brown sugar got to do with anything? I am aiming to optimize the flavor of this cupcake, which means that brown sugar with molasses in it brings a bit of dense, strong flavor to the cupcake. It's only a little. We're looking at a total of 425 grams of sugar, is it? The details are left somewhere here. You'll find out. There is just about 100 grams of brown sugar here. So even though I am looking to optimize the flavor of the brown sugar, there's just a little bit, not too much over here. And that is what we have. Now you can scrap the brown sugar and replace it with granulated sugar or the same quantity of caster sugar, and that should be fine. I am just explaining my intention for the ingredient selection and how that will impact my taste goals or objectives for the session of the bake. Now if you're in the chat, hello there, good morning. I never knew Saturday lives will be this fun. Look at all of you. How are you all? How are you keeping? Great to have you. There's Thelma in the chat. There is Paulina. Oh, Paulina, look. The lives are for everybody, right? But I also recognize that people have commitments and work days can be difficult. So if you're not always in a live, that is fine. You will catch up on replay. The replay, I go back and I edit some of it so that it makes the watching experience a little more fun and you don't feel out of place. But if you are happy to catch a live today, I am happy to have you. Welcome to the stream. Thelma, yeah, so Thelma and Tapita, great to have you over there. And let's just jump right into this. The quantity here, depending on how I distribute it in the cupcake tins, will yield me about 24 to 30 cupcakes. So I have lined 24 cupcake tins here. My morning is extremely busy. I should also add that the most important thing about these cupcakes though is not just making the cupcakes with the slight selection of slight changes in the ingredient selection. The topping will be the cheesecake, the deconstructed cheesecake sort of fresh cream cheesecake frosting on the cupcakes. We know that red velvet traditionally is pairs up well with cream cheese frosting, and if you've been here, I have spoken about my annoyance at cream cheese frosting and how unstable it is, right? So I'm going to try and employ the techniques and process for making the deconstructed cheesecake, which will then be the topping for this cupcake. So we're not missing out on the cheese, we're not missing out on the tartness and cheesecake vibe to the cupcake over here. These are just made for a church gathering, and I thought I'll bring you along the journey quickly so we can get this done, after which yeah, they will be off on their way. So I'm going to be using the stand mixer here for this quantity and for convenience. Of course, for the quantity of ingredients we have here, you can actually derive this by using a hand mixer. So I'm right, and with that, am I in short? Let's see. Yeah, we have that, and let's make sure. So into the stand mixer, I'm gonna have my margarine. I'm using margarine here. If you want to employ a deeper flavor, go for butter if you want to. I have just settled for margarine over here. So into that goes the margarine and then the sugar. And then into that, we're going to add vanilla. If you've been here, we pour our vanilla with a lot of love. but I will be putting the right yes, Tapita. We'll come back with the Tapita is asking a question about a developing tutorial series that I am undertaking, which is the piping. Yes, we'll be using the star tip to pipe this, and we'll see. It won't be an in-depth piping tutorial, but the hope is that I'll come back and we can talk about piping in other subsequent videos. Yeah, I was supposed to be here yesterday, isn't it? Because it was supposed to be a 3-day session for the piping. I sort of set myself up on a bad foot because I had a lot of stuff happening in my week. My week was really packed. But my hope is to come back and for us to develop the piping series. So let me know if you want the piping series to be what we suggested, that I'll come back with a couple of tips, maybe one tip, and then we'll try different techniques and then go back and forth. If you're just entering the chat, we're talking about a series that is already developing, piping for beginners, right? If you're a beginner and you want to learn about piping and you don't know where to start, I have stripped it all back and then handed you simple ways to derive some great results from piping. And we have also derived a buttercream recipe that achieves the results also for you. So check that out on the live. But with that said, we are going to cream this. A little bit of timing here. We're going for 4 minutes at 2 2-minute intervals at medium high speed over here. And whilst that is happening, I'm going to preheat the oven. It's 3 a.m. Yeah, I think when I looked at the time and I thought I'm starting the live at 11, I knew that my American audience, some of you will be asleep by this time, so I'm not mad about it. Great to still have you though. But 3 a.m. Tapita, can't you sleep? Right, we are going to scrape the sides in. The scraping is not a necessity, but it's reassuring to know that your ingredients will mix in homogeneously. Okay, so I like to scrape my ingredients all together a little bit. Oh, Tata, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But you know what? If this provides you a bit of entertainment and calm, good for you. I am pleased to be here with you. Now, on a very small detail I just wanted to pass here in the creaming process. If I was making a layered cake, I will cream this fully on the 4 minutes. And that is because the simplistic way I can explain the creaming process to you is that the sugar crystals dig pockets of air, dig into the batter, creating holes and pockets, and these air pockets will end up with the entire process, and ingredients will help hold air when the cake batter is expanding in the oven, right? But if you, with that in mind, if you think you're creating a foundation or a base to hold air into which the cake will expand, creating the structure of the cake, if you create too much of that, it is going to help create a light textured bake for you. But the difficulty is, with a cupcake, you only have this small thing, this small cup of batter, and if you have this batter that has so much air that expands and expands, it can't hold, and then it rises and it falls back, right? So that is something for you to know, that when you're making a cupcake, the creaming process varies slightly in time compared to a layered cake. Small detail, but very important, and it impacts the result. So I'm going to stop here, and I am going to have the egg yolks in the batter. Now, why do I need to mix the egg yolks by themselves before the eggs? Well, you could pour the entire egg in and mix it. Will it make a difference? Not exactly. But I found that in testing a few different recipe methods, egg yolks contain emulsifiers, which is what you call lecithin, right? So think of lecithin as the sort of thing that helps to hold your batter together. It's the peacemaker between the batter ingredients that do not naturally mix by themselves, and they need a peacemaker to bring them together. So when I start with the base of the egg yolks, it kind of creams my batter more homogeneously. The batter holds better, and by the time I come back to adding more eggs into it, I get a consistent texture and outcome that is not breaking. Because sometimes when you add the eggs, if you baked, or if you have experience with baking, Saturday, Gladys, come along. If you like baking, you would have noticed that at some point, the moment you introduce eggs into the sugar and butter mix, or your sugar and fat mixture, which is this part, the moment you start introducing eggs, the egg starts breaking, and then you have something that looks very curdled. There are a few influencing factors to causing that. And that's something you should know. If you're not using room temperature ingredients, or if your ingredients are not of a temperature that is consistently going to mix easily and homogeneously, it is going to cause, the temperature variation in the ingredient is going to cause a split in your batter. So that is one cause. But the other cause is also exclusively, if you have, say, cold eggs that are too cold, it doesn't mix easily, which causes your mixture to break. But eggs by themselves, depending on how you add them to the mixture, can also struggle to mix into your batter, which can lead to the splitting. So to minimize, adding the egg yolks alone doesn't solve the splitting problem. I think splitting sort of develops in the process at some point in time. But if you want to minimize the risk of that happening, one thing I find is that the egg yolks helps to create that. So you add egg yolks first, it creates sort of a base for you. It also adds creamy richness to your cake, and the texture of your cake itself, or cupcake, is better and sturdy. Like when you look at the structure, it's more even, it is better, and I like it for that matter. I have since sort of changed my vanilla recipes by just swapping the techniques around a little bit, and it has yielded me better results. Does that mean one is better than the other? Not necessarily, but if you're very particular as I am, then sometimes these small changes makes a huge difference to your outcomes over there, and I just wanted you to know that. Vortex. It's afternoon. Where is Vortex? Where are you, Vortex? Where in the vortex are you? Well, so I'm adding the egg yolks over here. If you're still in the chat and you're enjoying what we're doing this morning, do consider liking the video, just so that YouTube will know you've been here with us and we appreciate you. Okay? Oh, okay, Vortex. It's okay. So Vortex, you're in Europe, right? I'm in the UK, so it's nearly midday here. It's 11:24 over here, but you are already having midday. Okay, so Vortex, you are only an hour ahead of us. Yeah? Great to have you. Now, whilst the egg yolks are mixing, I should clarify that it's not a case of using egg yolks exclusively and then egg whites. No, it is over here. I think I have 4 egg yolks, which makes up for 85 grams of egg yolks, and the rest of it, I think, is it 170 grams, is made up of what? 2 whole eggs and some egg whites. So it's essentially the egg yolk, the white from the yolk here, plus some extra eggs. So that is something I just also wanted you to know. I'm going to mix that together slightly to help it along before we add that to the batter. I'm gonna just scrape everything together. You have the eggs in there and it's not mixing together, you're like, oh, my batter is ruined, and that is not the case at all over here, right? Oh, litros. Is it? Yeah, litros. How are you? Do you remember Litros? We had such a great time last time we were hanging out, right? Right. It's you again. All right. It's great to have you, Litros. Now it's time to add the self-raising. Well, I say self. It's our time to add the flour. The flour has 30 grams of cocoa powder in there, and I am going to be alternating the flour with buttermilk here, and in the buttermilk is a full tablespoonful. In the buttermilk is a full tablespoon of white wine vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar. At this point, the mixer is on low, which is fold function, right? It is on the fold function, and the goal is to let the fold function help mix the ingredients together homogeneously. You don't want to overmix things at this point, so you want to keep a real good eye on that. And then there comes the red food coloring. Thanks to the genius who decided that our red velvet needed a pop of color, because I'm not even mad about that. Litros, I think I remember you. Your name is so unique that I remember you. I have a new cake recipe my mom wants me to make. Right, Tapeta, please remind me again of the pie. I know it's something to do with a pie that is not a pie. Boston cream pie, right? Yeah, that is the cake you want to make for your mom's birthday, isn't it? Wow, that will come so quickly. Do you realize that's going to be 2 weeks away? Right, so our butter is done. Did I say there's a pinch of salt in the butter? Yeah, a pinch of salt. Don't forget that. Oh, Lordy. Now I'm looking for a genius to kind of come up with something that scrapes my K-beater easily. Because as I'm doing this, my brain is going, use your hand, use your hand. And it's not because I can't use my hands, because I'll wash my hands and use them. It's just that I don't want the faff of having to use my hands and the washing and coming back. I don't want it. So anyway, that's all done. See, we've got our butter all done. No trouble here. Well, the Saturday right, I can see you guys are having fun over there. Let me stop being distracted and let's get on with the task at hand. Right, Tapeta, let mom have her fun with her choices, okay? Don't be a party pooper. She wants a Jewish apple cake. If you can get that for her, come on, bake her a cake. Springform pans. Why do you hate baking in springform pans? Right, if you're wondering what I'm doing here, look at that butter. Mr. B?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do me a favor. I'm asking for help, people.
What?
Here.
Yeah, we're heading out to CX.
Right. There's a camera that is charging over there.
Yeah.
If you can just get that, do me a favor. People, bear with me, okay? I'm getting some help because I need a little bit of help here. Where is it?
Yeah, I'm bringing it. I'm just figuring out where to unplug it.
It's in the...
So I put it.
Okay. Right. Right. What I need is a photo of that so that I can use it as a thumbnail. So you need to plug it in first. What have you done? You separated it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Don't bother about it. Don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Does it not work when it's unplugged?
It doesn't work when it's unplugged because there's no battery. So pull it back, please. Okay. I just wanted a photo for a thumbnail, but it doesn't seem like it will happen. So let's move on. Right. Right. That's warm water into which the scoop. Now we have this here, and into that we are going to I wanna love you. I have this song in my head I can't get rid of. There you go. Right. Carpenter is telling me some pans. Tarpita once baked in a springform pan that she didn't grease, and it has taught her never to make that mistake again. Tarpita, join the club. But I don't think it's just springform pans alone though. If you don't grease your, depending on what recipe, because some recipes will, some sponge cake recipes, right, will ask that you do not grease the pan to allow the cake to stick to the side. But some recipes, if you don't grease your pan, springform or not, you are headed for Disasterville. Okay? What is that? Talking about that, what's the worst cake disaster what you've had, right? If you're in the chat and you're a baker, right, what is your worst cake? Oh God. One that I've had a lot. Like, I think after 10 years, there's quite a lot I can tell you about disasters in the kitchen, cake related disaster. But the one that sticks to mind right now, because I'm making cupcakes, is a day that I threw 70 cupcakes in the bin. 70 cupcakes. Why? Because I kept using the same flour. Oh God, you have no idea. If only the walls in my kitchen would talk. It will tell you some trouble and some mess. Right, we have 24 cupcakes. Did I say it was about anything between 24 and 30 cupcakes? Yes, I have some leftover butter in here. I could fill all 30. I'm not doing that because I also want to put some water at the base of my oven. So I'm going to bake the 24 and then we'll bake the rest later. But we're just going to move on, right? I've just put a bit of water in there. It leads to a softer, tender bake. And there you go. Yeah, it's baking at 100 and... $150 Celsius. Okay. Oh, Vortex, you've got to go play with your big sister. That's fine. Vortex, I'm so sorry it's late. I'm responding a bit late, but yes, yeah, have fun with your sister. And Tapita, this week, Mom wants Jewish apple pie cake. Is it apple cake? Made. Oh, so Tapita is saying her mom found a recipe that she wants making. Tapita also hates springform pans, and she wanted to make a giant Hostess chocolate cupcake for the hubby, and his birthday ended up sick with the flu. Oh no, No. Tabitha, the guy is hardly poor, and not having a cake is not the worst thing. He's got you, Tabitha. Look on the brighter side. Well, Tabitha is saying in the chat, there was a year where she wanted to make a giant cake for her husband, and he came down with flu, and she couldn't frost the cake. Literally, he ended up not having a cake, and Tabitha is feeling sorry for him. You know what, Tabitha, I know you love your husband, but you know what, he's got you, so whether he has a cake or not, it's still a good deal, isn't it? Okay, well, our cupcakes are baking. It's exactly 11:41, so we'll give it 19-20 minutes, the full time, the entire time, and then we'll see what that comes out as from the oven. Right, I'm just clearing my workspace so that we can go straight back to making the frosting for these cupcakes. Yeah. Right, we have leftover butter. What do you do with your leftover butter? I'll be baking those extras anyway. When this finishes baking, I'll be baking those. In fact, where is, oh God. Let me line some other things and fill them up so that when this finishes, I'll just bake those as extra, because I will need some extra cupcakes to crush them on as frosting toppers. I believe I haven't had breakfast. I haven't had anything to eat. Tabitha's caking disaster. Another caking disaster. Tabitha said, I wanted to make a strawberry filled cupcake cake. The strawberry leaked out everywhere. I didn't have a good border. Ah, my darling. When that happens, it's happened to the best of us, my dear. Okay, welcome. The more disasters you have, the more lessons you can take with it. Okay, so don't you worry. You're in good company. I told you, I threw that 70. Oh God, the story of my very first cake, sir, big sir.
Yeah.
Do you remember the story of my very first cake? Remember?
Which was your first one?
The very first cake I baked, the Ninja Turtle.
Oh shit, yeah.
Stop swearing. I've got stories, okay? I have got stories. I'm looking back and thinking, the cakes that I used to be so proud I made. You know what? The lesson is that those cakes gave me a chance to get here, so I'm not even mad about them. Okay? So we had exactly 29 cupcakes. There's 24 in there, and then there's extra 5 here. So, as I said, anything between 24 to 30 cupcakes. I wanted these a bit full, so I think I've lost one over there, but there we have. Oh, Ninja Turtle. My dear, I think I have photos of it from my Google Drive. I will post them up. But it's a layered Ninja Turtle cake, and it was my first layered cake because my business didn't start as a cake business, as in it started actually as a cupcake business. I just wanted to make fancy cupcakes with that tasted nice. And then somehow I ended up on that side of town where customers wanted a cake, and my first order was a Ninja Turtle and a 2-tier, I think, was it a Mickey Mouse cake? Oh, I'll post some photos. Right, so our cupcakes are baking. We're gonna move ahead and make the cheesecake frosting. So the difference here is that we're making a fresh cream style cheesecake frosting. This is very different from cream cheese frosting. The cheesecake frosting has cream cheese, but it's not cream cheese frosting. The difference between cream cheese frosting is that you create the frosting with some sort of batter base to it, whereas the cheesecake frosting is exactly the mixture that you derive to make a cheesecake, which goes to top a biscuit base, except this time we are not having the biscuit base. We are just making the filling, as in the cheesecake filling, right? Litros, you're back. How is playing with your sister? Not as fun as you thought, huh? So you decided to come back and hang out with us, is it? Litros. Look, you are always welcome. You can change your mind, you can go, you can come back, and we love you nonetheless, okay? There you go. Now this is the part where I have to learn my lesson and figure out I probably need a hand mixer, because last time I tried to do it with my hand, I ended up with guns. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, okay? But let's get ourselves a hand mixer, because I really don't fancy working with my hands today, okay? I really don't want the exercise routine because I haven't eaten breakfast. All of those. Oh, Lord Ron. Lord Ron. Hello, friends. How are you? Welcome to the stream. It's Saturday and we're making red velvet cupcakes. Look, there's 26 of you. Can I make a polite request? Okay? Do you want to like the video for me, please? Just so that YouTube knows this Saturday I haven't had breakfast, but I'm here for you, okay? I am here. We're having fun. Like, okay, last time we were here, we did manage to make our way to the, is it Bledoni Street? And if you don't know what that is, who has heard the name Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? Litroffs, did you say you're a dog? Lord Ron, I am all right. Are you asking me? I am okay, thank you. Great to have you. Okay? Who says they are a dog, my darling? Dogs don't type unless you're a kind of special dog, right? That said, what are we going to do here first? We're going to have the cream cheese. I don't have my favorite honey. Okay, we can do without the honey. I do love the honey though. Right? People, can we talk about the Blake Lively situation? You know what? I know you're sick to death of it. You're sick. Yeah? You were so sick of it. And I can do without not talking about it. But I like a bit of pop culture gossip. Okay? So if you like a bit of pop culture gossip like I do, come on, let's talk about it. Right? And the 15 of you in the chat, I still love you nonetheless, even though you haven't liked the video. Okay? You know what I'm looking for? I am looking for my, microplane. There you go. We are going for the orange zest. I said lemon zest here. Right? Lemon zest brings freshness. Okay? And there you are. You want to be careful of the pits when you are zesting your lemon. But well, Lord Ron, you are in the streets with us. You know what? I feel they say, I'm like, oh, girl, unless she has a smoking gun, that will change this. She's making it bad for every person who really is experiencing this, as in, who really has a serious case going, isn't it? It's really, you think if she, it's a difficult subject to kind of touch because our world has changed so much. But what, I don't know, would you say believe all women? Okay, if you wonder what I'm doing, I have put some seeds here, and of course the lemon seeds are unwanted for sure, so I've got rid of it. There you go. So apparently believe all women. Okay. You should believe me. Right. And one small tip here, whilst we're at it, don't be scared to put a bit of salt in your cream cheese. A touch of salt. It goes a long way, believe me. Oh, Mitali, thank you so much. I am so grateful you're here with me today. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Mitali is from India. She Tapeta, I take it you have gone and seen some of the information we discussed here last time, right? Right. So if you wonder what I'm doing here, I am just creaming together the cream cheese, lemon zest, half a squirt of lemon juice, and a pinch of salt with vanilla. Okay? That's what I'm doing here. We are not done yet. You know, when I was complaining that I like Philadelphia, it's creamy, it's nice, but it's just like, it has such an underwhelming mouthfeel. The lemon brings it out. The lemon kind of brings the kick of tartness that you want from cream cheese. And like I've said this before, this is the 300-gram pack of creme fraiche, but I'm using about 150. As you can see, I am not measuring anything because this recipe option here is simply adaptable. Okay, you can adapt it to suit yourself and you can change it. But we have the 165-gram pack of cream cheese, and there is 150 grams of creme fraiche over here. Okay, and all I'm doing is mixing all that together. And mixing it together means all I'm doing, I'm whipping it so that it's any lumps or anything that is in there is removed. So you just do that. So Tapeta is chiming in on the Blake and Justin chatter. She says, Blake knew that she knew behind the scenes if it made her uncomfortable. Wouldn't she have been uncomfortable when she read the scene? Good point, Tapeta. I think I'm loving that. But then, to give her a benefit of a doubt, I kind of feel like sometimes we have to dance around these things and play devil's advocate. I think sometimes, I've never been an actress, I don't know, if the scene, even if she reads the scene and doesn't feel like there's discomfort, the amount of SCX scenes that apparently are in this movie, because that is packed in the movie, the amount of intimacy, as in very, very close intimacy that are packed in this movie, if she was uncomfortable, then this particular movie wouldn't have been for her. But I also say that and add a point here to say, sometimes you don't know what you perceive may not be the experience when it's happening in real time. So granted that her feelings changed in the experience of doing the thing, as in performing the written scene, when you look at the entire, how this has played out, you think, if you have Taylor Swift, okay, to use her as cachet to get everything you need, damn, Taylor Swift would have been the first person I would have roped into this and said, you know, be done. Do you see what I mean? So you can use Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds and all the A-list influence you have to kick a man out of his own movie, but you can't use the same cachet to defend yourself over something so incredibly serious. The math and mathing. That's all. Let me just, I think I was okay when nobody knew what I was thinking. Okay, that's all. That's my only gripe here, that it doesn't make sense to me. Because when you hear real victims about this sort of stuff, sometimes it's hard. You have to process what is within and how you feel first before you can open up. So when society is like, why did you leave it so long? Well, why did I leave? I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do and all that stuff. So real victims will react to this differently and will have a different perspective to bring to the conversation. That said, I'm saying there's no perfect victim. So just because she's rich and an A-lister doesn't mean she can't be a victim. So let's not assume that because she has all of these things, this can't happen to her. But the math is not mathing. She had so much influence and such cachet that it's not that her influence would have shielded her from being a victim or this not happening, but the influence meant she had every resource to stop this from happening. Am I tripping? Anyway, I'm a cake maker. Not a pop culture commentary person, okay? There are so many people who have strong opinions about this. Anyway, our cream cheese is mixed here. Let's put that in the... The cream cheese is in the fridge. Cream cheese is in the fridge. Next, we have... What am I doing singing? I am so like... Saturday just feels so different today for me, doesn't it? Okay. Right, we have... Is it 300 mils of fresh cream? All of it. Okay, don't be scared. Use the whole pot of thing. Right, so cream cheese frosting. My point is that the way we make cream cheese frosting is slightly different, because cream cheese frosting, you will imagine, you know what, let me work on this quickly enough so that it doesn't break. Right, so I am whipping the fresh cream here, and all I'm doing is whipping. Okay, so what you just made is cream cheese frosting and not the American kind. No, the American kind is cream cheese frosting, right? Which is the cream cheese where you cream the butter and margarine, butter and icing sugar together, and then add the cream cheese. So that's cream cheese frosting. That's not what I'm doing here. I am doing a cheesecake filling, so a cheesecake frosting. So the difference is that, you know, the filling that you fill your cheesecake with. I'm not talking big cheesecake. I'm talking the no-bake cheesecake. The filling. That is what I'm doing. So I'm making a filling for a cheesecake, except this is going on top of a cupcake instead of a biscuit topping. I hope that makes sense, Tabitha. Right? There is 13 of you in the chat, and some of you may have left already. But, oh, you know what? Can we just move on to using the hand mixer? You've not made a no-bake cheesecake before. Okay, the no-bake is just a cheesecake mixture base that you create and then you leave it to set in a fridge. It's really nice and lovely, right? So I don't want to overbeat this cream. So the cream you just saw me put in is fresh cream, what you call double cream. In America, I believe the equivalent will be heavy cream. The branding and the names of these vary from country to country, but I believe I'm not wrong if I say this is heavy cream. And then with that, I am having what you call the extra thick cream. So it's just a heavier portion of the double cream, okay? This just adds a little more body and also enhances the richness, because fresh cream itself by itself alone can be a little bit like what does that mean? It just means it doesn't seem to have much to it, and I want this to be stable. So we have a full tub, which is 300 grams, and we've added in 150 grams or mils of the thick cream here. Now, because I don't want to overbeat this, I'm going to add the sugar, but I've just developed a problem here. I realize I don't have so much sugar, and I think I want to measure the sugar just so that we can understand the amount of sugar we need here. So let me go get some more icing sugar. Carpenter. No, Alicia. The word light doesn't come in here. We have fresh double cream, which is because once you, 1 second. Labeling is different in many countries. Over here in England, light means less fat. So I won't confuse you by saying it's light. It's just double cream and then extra thick. Double cream itself is thick, but the extra thick means it is just enhanced and it's thicker than the double cream. When you go shopping in England here and you say I want light fresh cream, the light fresh cream has no fat, and that's not what we're talking about at all. Okay, so bear that in mind. Hi, Helen. Hello. So just from now, the thin was the first one. So yes, sort of. Alicia, got it. The thin, it wasn't thin. It wasn't thin. It's what you call fresh double cream. It will whip by itself. You can use it if you want, okay? Because if you went shopping and you're like, I want the light fresh cream, you will end up with a no fat or a less fat version, and that's not what we want. So this is the tub, just so that you have some visual cues to it. There you have it. So this is the fresh double cream. It's all right, and if you don't find the extra thick, it's fine. I've made it without. It makes a difference, but here are the two. You have this and that. Hope that helps, okay? Right. So if you have questions, let me just get this quickly with, because the thing with fresh cream is that if you're dealing with fresh cream and the temperatures are not on your side, you may end up with difficulties. So let me just finish and I'll answer all the questions there is. Whilst we're at it, there are cupcakes I have to check out. So let me just measure this sugar quickly. Okay, there's about 120 grams of icing sugar here, and all I'm doing is sifting it because I would hate to have lumps in this frosting. We don't want any lumps at all. So there you go, because for some reason this packaging came a little bit lumpy. So there you have it. So there you go. Now let's sort the cupcakes out from the oven. Oh God, if I end up with a sweaty face, you know why. Oh, look at our cupcake. Aren't they perfect? See? Perfectly domed cupcakes. We did it, people. We did it. Okay, right. Let me leave those to the side. We'll come back to those in a minute. Okay, right. Right. Let's see. Right. Let's get to work. Okay. Yeah. Let's get to work on what we're doing. Right. The cream is back. Okay. And then we're going to have the sugar. That's 120 grams of icing sugar in there. And I am mixing all of this together. Right, when whipping, you want to be careful you don't over whip. We have our cream mixed together. Now, the amount of sugar here works for me. You can increase or decrease the sugar. It is fine. And the body, look at, if you were stood here, the sort of resistance I have stirring into this cream mixture here is all down to the addition of the extra thick cream, because the extra thick cream allows the cream to set properly and to have some body to it. So that is something I will strongly encourage the use of, right? Let's see.
Watch this, Daddy. I'm about to shoot this guy to person.
Hang on. Grab your water.
The thing I like about fresh cream is that it is mild, it's creamy. If you get the combination of ingredients and ratios right, you get sort of a buttercream style feel to it without the extra duties. Okay? That said, remember we had extra cupcakes. Those go in. And so the cream cheese and creme fraiche is back. And what we are going to do is fold that into our fresh cream mixture. So if I was making a cheesecake, a no-bake cheesecake, this is what it will be like. Get everything mixed together and then leave it in the fridge to set. And then you cut into it and then you have a cheesecake, essentially. But I am trying to bring the cream cheese. There you go. At this point, a good thing to note here is that if you get to this point, you want to work carefully and be patient, because it is very delicate. It can split easily. As you can see, I am working with the spatula instead of engaging the hand mixer. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is cream cheese. This is, call it a cheats cream cheese frosting on a cupcake. I'm not even mad about it. Ooh, this frosting on a cupcake is everything. Okay? Oh God, it's all mixed together. Tell me if you're the kind of person who doesn't like to leave any of your ingredients behind. Like, I want to scrape every little thing. Okay. This is good. Now it goes back in the fridge to set. And we need to wipe our workspace, bring the cupcakes back so they're cool before we frost. Okay? I'm loving this Saturday. Tomorrow we are having a vlog style video, and then next week we're back with more simple classic bakes, but I have other formats and series developing. We'll come to those. But if you're just joining us here, thank you for being here. Let's go and crash on our cupcakes again. Look how level. So this baked at 150 degrees C with water at the base of the oven for 20 minutes. Look at those cupcakes. There's no fault here, is there? Tabitha, why have you stepped into your kitchen? You're not trying to bake tonight, are you? Now, you know the cupcake is not complete if we don't look at the crumb. Look. Look at the crumb of that bad boy. When I tell you the egg yolk settles the batter, look. Can you see how even the crumb is? This is a good cake, people. Okay? Tapeta, you were looking for reason to go into that kitchen already, okay? I love you nonetheless. You do whatever pleases you in that kitchen. People, believe me when I say I will not lie to you. Actually. Believe me when I say this is a good combination. The sort of tang and tartness that cream cheese is supposed to bring, it is enhanced by the touch of lemon here in the fresh cream. But the coolness of the fresh cream frosting here, sort of, it has such a balanced mouthfeel, and the sweetness from the 120 grams of sugar is not overwhelming, but it's not underwhelming, because if it's underwhelming, all you are getting is just cream and mild softness in your mouth. This is a favorite. And I have a few of those. So we are done. Okay? We are done. Love. But we need to tidy up and let our cupcakes cool. Okay? If you're new in the chat, hello. Hello. I'm Gladys. If you haven't noticed, I love cake. Okay? I love cake. I eat cake. I talk cakes. I bake cakes. Look, it's Saturday. I have hardly had breakfast. Okay? And I'm here talking cakes. And I went to bed at about 2 a.m. and I woke up at 9. And since I woke up, the prep work to get here is all cake. So I'm caked up. Okay? I am caked up. I love cake. I love cake. I love cake. Have I told you lately? Okay, let's get our cupcakes on here. Shape of my heart, Lord, you. Nana Wuswa, how are you, my lovely? Let's say. February is coming so soon, you know. So I hope you can get on to that stuff we were talking about, Nana. Look at this. Right. Right, I would like to frost the cupcakes right now, but if I did, it will be disaster. Okay, so we are not going to do that right now. We're going to let the cupcakes chill completely before we frost them. It's only 12:18. They've got to be ready for 1 o'clock. So what do I do? Welcome back. It's me. If you're just joining us, hello, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good day. I'm Gladys. I love cake. I enjoy cake. And today we made some red velvet cupcakes. Amazing red velvet cupcakes. It's up on the channel anywhere you want to find it. The difference is that I talked you through the intention behind my ingredient selection, the technique I'm using, why I'm using them, and what they will bring to the outcome of my bake. In the end, we had a very light textured, evenly baked cupcakes that are not domed. Oh, moist, nice, steady crumb, but not too light and not too dense. Okay, that's the cupcake we derived. Now, on top of that, we have a cheesecake frosting. This is not cream cheese frosting. This is a cheesecake frosting. The no-bake cheesecake filling that goes into a biscuit crust to set. That's the filling we have derived to put onto this cake. The intention for using that is because it's simple to make, it's convenient to derive, it has very accessible ingredients. Plus, I don't have the trouble of the unstableness of cream cheese. Cream cheese can be super unstable, but the addition of cream, which is double cream and extra thick cream here, enhances the structure of the Philadelphia, mildly tasting Philadelphia here, which gives me a very steady result. Tip here, if you're using this cream cheese, please ensure your cake is kept chilled, because not only does this come with the recommendation of food safety that you can't keep it outside for more than 4 hours, but even though you derive a very stable frosting like consistency to this cheesecake filling, it's not very steady under hot weather conditions. It will melt, it will break, and it will be problematic. So even though it's great for cupcakes and for cakes, it's not a weatherproof sort of, a hot weatherproof sort of frosting. So as I'm talking to you, both cupcakes and cakes are in the fridge. Both are setting whilst additional cupcakes are baking. And once the cupcake is cool enough, I will frost it, and then we'll get it packed and ready to go. That said, let's go into the chat and see what is going on there. Well, you should, Nana Wusua, because it is so nice. It is nice, and I tasted it on here. Okay, so all 18 of you in the chat, do me a favor if you're just joining us. Do like this video if you've got yourself some value. And if you don't want me to see you, don't worry. If you like the video, I never know who likes the video. I never know. So I just know that the numbers go up and it's great. Okay, and the numbers just tells YouTube that we're here giving you value. Okay, I haven't had breakfast. I have a son I have to attend to, but here's me standing here talking to you about cakes. I love cakes. Okay, have I told you lately?